This as President Trump's big, beautiful bill makes its way through the Senate with less than 3 legislative weeks away from the self-imposed July 4th deadline. Joining me now is RNC Youth Advisory Council Chairman Brilyn Hollyhand. Brilyn, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What are you expecting to see out of this legislation? Tell me about your generation and what the priorities are here.
Yeah, Maria, good morning. Happy Friday to you. We remember the Paul Ryan years. We remember those lofty promises back in the day. We also remember the disappointment at the time, because as you remember, when Republicans controlled the House and the Senate in 2017, barely anything actually got accomplished. The border wasn't secured, Obamacare didn't get repealed, and the swamp wasn't drained, Maria. The only thing that moved quickly was the clock, and that opportunity slipped away. But now it's 2025. Trump is back in the Oval Office, and we have momentum again, and yet that same old DC inertia is starting to set in. Maria, I'll tell you this morning, if the GOP Congress wastes another Trump term by sitting on their hands, it won't just be a policy failure, it's going to be a generational betrayal. Because like you said, Gen Z is paying attention this time, and we didn't get these generation, my peers, off the sidelines and off the couch and go to the ballot box just to watch history repeat itself again. We're tired of politicians who are going to be show horses instead of workhorses, Maria.
Yeah, it's interesting because many in your generation, they seem to be siding with President Trump, but not necessarily all Republicans.
Yeah, you're right. And yeah. I specifically highlighted in this op-ed a specific story that kind of popped out to me the last few weeks is the president's trying to get Congress to pass these specific pieces of legislation to actually implement good things for Gen Z, like no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, things that affect Gen Z service workers. On my 12th birthday, I was up in D.C. filming some podcasts on the Capitol Hill, and I got invited to go to dinner with the United States Senator. And he leaned across the table from me and said, Brilyn, the first thing you're going to learn when you get into politics is that in this business, there are workhorses and show horses. And the show horses love to join a cable show and sit and be a pundit, but they don't actually do anything. They're what we call an armchair activist. The workhorse is the one sitting in the committee, sitting and doing this work, and that's what we need.
Well, former DNC Vice Chairman David Hogg will not be running for re-election. He was pressured by the membership to walk away. He saw pushback within his own party after saying they needed to appeal to younger men. He was willing to spend money to primary out failing Democrats. And I asked California Congressman Ro Khanna about it yesterday. Here's what he said. Watch. You've got the National Committee Vice Chair David Hogg saying he's not going to run for re-election after a majority of DNC members wanted a new vote. A new Quinnipiac University poll shows a majority of Democrat voters do not approve of their congressional leaders. As someone who does think about common sense and practicality when it comes to leadership, who do you think is the face of the 2025 Democrat Party right now?
Well, I think it's unfortunate what happened to David Hogg. Even the one thing we can watch from the Republican Party is they don't have a problem getting rid of their incumbents. I mean, Donald Trump transformed that party in 8 years. I believe we need new blood in the Democratic Party. I think we need a new generation of leadership. We have to have a vision for America and be on Team America, not divide the country in different places.
And Brilyn, you mentioned this because you wrote about an op-ed in your op-ed on why Gen Z men are fleeing the Democrat Party. What do you think the reason is?
Yeah, I mean, any day the Democrat Party is in disarray is a good day for us. Their party has no leadership right now. Tim Walz and Pete Buttigieg are speaking at every local club that will let them, but combined, neither of them have enough masculinity to even open a pickle jar. So it's a beautiful thing to see. But I'll say that David Hogg was supposed to be the DNC's saving grace. He was supposed to be their secret weapon to win Gen Z, and they kicked him to the curb after 6 months because of DEI requirements that he didn't meet. So I don't think that's a good message to Gen Z, and that's exactly why Gen Z is fleeing the left. They said Gen Z men are lost. We're not lost. We're just left the left because they abandoned us. They called our masculinity toxic. They compared us to Nazis and Hitler Juniors and garbage. And now they're surprised that we're abandoning their party. Don't get surprised and waste your $20 million. We'd love to see you blow that in the wind before the midterms.
Ashley Hinson, jump in. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Brilyn, I want to know what you're going to do with your life, because I think you're going to be very successful. I've been on some shows with you before. You're doing well. You know, I 100% agree Washington does not move fast, but I do have to say, in the Senate this week, we've had a huge stablecoin piece of legislation by Senator Haggerty pass, which is now going to the House. Yesterday in the House, we had a huge, we had a rescission package that's making President Trump's, cuts permanent. We also are maybe 10 days away from the big, beautiful bill, maybe 2 weeks. But it is, I know it seems slow in regards to normal everyday life, but it is going a little bit faster. But also what the president's been able to do with executive orders. I mean, it's something that's priceless that has happening in regards to changing the policy of the country. So I do agree, but let's give a little credit.
Brilyn?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the president's been able to do a lot of really good work with the executive orders and actually do something called promises made, promises kept. This really unheard of thing in politics called actually doing what you were elected to do. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a secret weapon to keep winning Gen Z because he's actually keeping his promises. What DC politicians go and keep their promises, Maria? It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Ashley Davis. Last time I checked, you are not an elected official. Like Ashley Hinson. My apologies for that. Ashley Davis. All right, Brilyn, thank you for being here. Brilyn Hollyhand, it's good to see you. We'll be following your work, certainly.